You don't need every answer mapped out to take your first step. You just need enough courage to begin. Even if the path ahead feels uncertain and unfinished, sometimes you just have to take that leap of faith. And progress doesn't wait for perfection, and neither should you, because waiting for clarity can sometimes keep you stuck longer than just moving forward ever would. And there's a quiet strength in admitting that I don't know yet, and still choosing to keep going anyway. Trusting that answers reveal themselves through action. Life rarely hands you a full blueprint. You build it piece by piece as you walk, learning more from movement than standing still. You're allowed to feel unsure and still be determined at the same time. Those two things can exist together, and they often do. And the truth is, clarity often comes after you start, not before. So if you're waiting for certainty, you might be waiting forever. And, every step forward is a conversation with the unknown. And each step teaches you something you couldn't have learned any other way. And you don't need to see the entire staircase. Just the next step in front of you is enough to keep going. Overthinking can feel like preparation, but sometimes it's just fear dressed up as caution, trying to convince you not to move. And growth isn't about having all the answers. It's about being willing to face the questions as they come. You've made it through things before without knowing how it would turn out, and somehow you found your way through. And the future isn't something you solve all at once. It's something you experience, moment by moment, decision by decision. Taking action, even imperfect action, builds confidence faster than waiting ever could. You don't need certainty to begin. You just need belief that you'll figure out things along the way. And every person you admire once stood exactly where you are, unsure, uncertain, and still deciding to move forward anyway. And doubt doesn't mean stop. It means you're stepping into something new, something unfamiliar, something that matters. And there's no perfect moment where everything suddenly makes sense. You create that moment by choosing to act despite the confusion. Sometimes the only way to understand your path is to start walking it, even if you can't see where it leads yet. And you don't need to control every outcome. You just need to commit to the process and trust yourself to adapt. And fear often shows up where you're about to grow, not when you're about to do something safe and familiar. And it's okay to change direction later. What matters right now is that you're not standing still. The unknown isn't always something to fear. It can also be where your best opportunities are waiting. You learn more by doing than by waiting. More by trying than planning endlessly. Movement creates momentum, and momentum creates clarity. So start moving, even if it's slow. You don't need guarantees. You don't need the willingness to take a chance on yourself. Every step you take builds experience, and experience becomes the answers you were looking for. And there's no shame in not knowing everything. There's only growth in being willing to learn. And your journey doesn't have to look meaningful or perfect. It just has to be yours. And even small steps count because they move you out of doubt and into action. And you don't need to have it all figured out either, bro. You just need to be committed to figuring it out. Every day that I go through something, I always try to figure things out. And I'm proud when I look back. And the path becomes clearer once you walk it, not the longer you stare at it. And, you're stronger than your uncertainty, even when it doesn't feel like it. And trust isn't about knowing, it's about believing you'll handle whatever comes next. And every moment you spend moving forward is a moment you're no longer stuck. And, answers don't always come before action. Sometimes they come because of it. And you don't need permission to begin. You can decide right now that you're ready to try. Progress is built on imperfect steps, not imperfect plans. And the fear of not knowing can either stop you or push you. It's your choice which one it becomes. And you don't have to be fearless. You just have to be willing. That's pretty much all I got for this one. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.